Hello, nice to be back on the show again, and thanks for joining the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. Today on the program, Abdullahi Adamu faction of the new PDP disowns Baraje Oyinlola, says they are not marginalized in APC. Senator Magnus Abe seeks Buhari's help over Rivers APC as Chief Justice describes attack on Port Harcourt courts, danger to democracy, and later on the show, 10 killed in suspected herdsmen attack in 2 communities in Kogi as Army nab 4 armed herdsmen recover AK-47 rifles ammunition in Taraba State. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Mobolade Omonijo, and Ismail Omikbidon. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Glad to have you join us. Intrigues and twists are the hallmarks of political game in Nigeria's democracy. Such unfolding before our eyes on Monday. In the face-off between the new PDP and the All Progressive Congress over alleged marginalization, a faction of the group led by Senator Abdullahi Adamu has disowned the one led by Kawu Baraje and Olagunsoye Oyinlola, which gave a weak ultimatum to President Muhammadu Buhari to meet with them. But the Adamu-led faction said there is no basis for such meeting as it did not get their blessing. They also denounced Baraje and his co-travelers for crying foul, having in the past been well compensated in the scheme of things. Babajide, Adamu Abdullahi went ahead, he gave a breakdown about who got what, from the president to the vice president to the senate president, that the equation is balanced. And he went to draw up his graph of what the new PDP inherited from the coalition. Now, I want us to look at it from CPC, ACN, and APC, and who got what at the end of the day in terms of spread of governance. But Abdullahi Adamu, from the press release, did a very good job in trying to defend the position of the United Coalition. They're now saying Olagunsoye Oyinlola had even announced his resignation from APC. Babajide.
Yes, I think the point that they are trying to make is that they had their minds made up even before they wrote that letter, because Oyinlola's resignation came too soon after that letter. If you had plans to remain at least a little bit more in the
party, leave the 7 days now. You allowed the 7-day ultimatum.
It came too soon after that letter was sent to the president and the leader of the chairman of the party. So they are saying perhaps these guys have made up their minds. They are just testing the waters, trying to see if they could negotiate. But the truth, just as we said when we discussed that matter last week, is there's no way the nPDP can say they have not benefited from this regime. In fact, I'm convinced that they benefited sufficiently. The claim of marginalization is unfounded. When you imagine that some of the choicest positions have already been taken by these nPDP people. You look at the NDDC board, for example. The nPDP members took the chairman of the board and took the MD of the board. The chairman of the board is Ndoma Egba, the former majority leader
of the
Senate. And you have Isima Ekere, you know, one of Akpabio's former trusted hands. He's the MD of NDDC. You cannot tell me that Buhari couldn't have found anyone amongst, I'm coming, Yoruba will say, I'm Fabo, you know? So you can't tell me that Buhari couldn't have found
somebody from CPC,
from the southwest, or from the south-south, who could have occupied those positions, or at least one of those positions. And then you have the massa, just as Abdullahi said, you have Rotimi Amechi, probably one of the two most powerful ministers in this administration.
Honestly.
And he also brought his boy,
Yes.
Peter Side, to occupy the position of MD of NIMASA. Ideally, Amechi shouldn't even have been allowed to bring someone to head that position. Ideally, if we want to tell ourselves the truth. And then he brought someone even from his home state. Yeah. You know, because you look at NIMASA is richer than 10 Nigerian states combined.
Damn.
You know, and then he brought his boy, the person that he tried to make governor, but Wike had other ideas.
So Wike had other ideas?
Yes. No. Wike had other ideas. So he made him the NIMASA boss. And when you look at governors today, today's governors who up till December 4, 2014, were still in the PDP. You have people like Fatai in Kwara. You have Otom in Benue. You have Ganduje. You have Bagudu in Kebbi. You have Tambuan. No? You have Lalong.
The speaker then.
You have Lalong. And we have ministers. People like Eniken Lokobiri, you know, he used to be in the Senate. You know, I remember him harassing the former minister of transport then, Yusuf Suleiman, when he was in the Senate, and he was threatening, I will get you arrested because the man will not play ball. So today, Eniken Lokobiri is a minister. How long did he stay in the APC to become a minister? So there are so many of them. Even at Itaenang.
Yeah,
how long did he stay in the APC? That he was.
At the time he was appointed, I was asking, is the Itaenang in APC?
Many people thought at that time that it should have been Abike Dabiri who will get that kind of position.
Oh, Lord,
yes, because they had been in the National Assembly for years. Yes, for much longer. And there were people that we saw them work hard. Every campaign you saw Abike Dabiri, even this Baba Yoyo that they were shouting, it was Abike Dabiri who first sang it. You know? So there are people who started from the scratch, even with this Buhari man, who started from the scratch, who today have not benefited anything. And those ones are not even accusing the government of marginalization.
The deputy DG of campaign is still there.
They are there. You see Mamora, you know, despite all the efforts that he made, nobody has given him any serious distance. Now you have a Kawu Baraje who was given board chairman, is complaining. The feeling that people have is that Bukola Saraki will forever remain and will forever feel marginalized until the case against him has been dropped. Because he never imagined that it could be in a party that he spent so much money.
So if Baraje is talking now, is Saraki?
No, I know some of the other people feel the way he's feeling. This thing is beyond just marginalization. There are some realities that they can't live with. If today Buhari says, okay, he calls the EFCC people and said, drop that case against the Senate president. Honestly, the Senate president will become more loyal to Buhari than even people like Malame who had been his lawyer for many years. That's the thing. Things will just change suddenly. So as long as he's being put on trial, they will feel that they are being marginalized.
Ismail, looking at the scheme of things now, do they have the locus to, they have 7 days ultimatum, and Abdullah Adamu and his other people are saying, no, you don't have any case.
Well, I want to look at the whole scenario differently, because most of those who appear to have benefited from those appointments were not, they were in PDP, but they were not originally part of the new PDP movement. Ndoma Egba, for example, joined APC after the election has been won and lost. So also several of them. Now, Abdullah Adamu, fine, he was a former governor, and but he did not play any significant role in the new PDP movement as at that time. Yes, they were moving. And come to look at Nasarawa State, where Abdullah Adamu comes from. If you recall, in 2015, Buhari lost the election in Nasarawa State. So to that extent...
In 2015?
Yes, in 2015. So to that extent, I want to believe very strongly that Abdullah Adamu only changed, you know, at the beginning, it was part of the Saraki group.
Okay.
But you know, politicians, once their interests appear not to be protected somewhere, they shift base, you know. The moment Abdullah Adamu shift base, they started this their Buhari support group in the National Assembly, which led to his removal as chairman of others, you know. Now,
Senators.
the marginalization they are talking about, the way I look at it, is not marginalization per se, but I think it has to do with some of the issues Mr. Babajide raised. Because in their letter, they also talked about the issue of harassment, you know, of their member. And when you look at harassment, so far in the new PDP, apart from probably okay, recently we heard that EFCC was going to go after Kwankwaso and Wamako, you know. So I am sure, the way I look at it, I think the group is just preparing grounds for their eventual exit from the APC. That is the way I look at it.
You know,
to give
a reason.
Because for now, I don't think there should be anything like new PDP. Once they collapse into
coalition came together.
I think because since they collapsed themselves into APC, I'm not sure they have ever had any meeting as new PDP until recently when, you know, they came up with, you know,
they've been having formal
you know, with that, they may have been having formal, but you see, even the positions the other APC people are claiming they had, let's face the fact, it was not given to them the way the vice presidency slot and the president slot was allocated to these other groups. They got it by their own, you know, because the election that brought Dugara in as speaker, for example, I think he defeated Bajabi Amila by 8 votes.
Yes.
And only about 5 or 6 APC members in the House of Reps voted for Dugara. So in essence, it was APC, it was PDP that made Dugara speaker. Same to, you know, Saraki. So you cannot really say those positions were allocated.
The logical argument that Abdullah made was
were allocated to them.
If you are saying marginalization, marginalization doesn't end with the executive. In this administration today, you can't have someone, one of your own, as number 3 person in a government and still be saying, oh, you are marginalizing this administration. That's the point that he's making. And the other thing is
logical.
But
like I'm saying, is not the marginalization is not.
nPDP is the euphemism for people who left the PDP to join the business. You do not expect everybody to be active in a movement. It's just not possible. There are people who are hungry, just chose not to talk. The moment the nPDP succeeded in embarrassing the former president and joined the APC, they went with them.
Mobalade, now, when you look at what is happening, he mentioned something. He said, you know, if I want to live at all costs, there will be a reason. I must hang on to something. This 7-day ultimatum and everything is as if this is a script to something, and we might reach crescendo in the next 1 month at least, so that can allow the movement. Jide has always been saying it, that there's going to be movement from APC, movement from PDP. So is this part of the movement?
It's natural that there will be realignment. The truth of the matter is that the way the APC even came together, you had the legacy parties, and the leadership that the party had under Oyegun was not active enough to try to see whether you could have some cohesion over the period. So you are bound to have some realignment. This is not the end of it. It's not the end of it. There will be others, ANPP and others who want. No, there are other parties that are coming on. Baba Obasanjo said that he wasn't going to party. He was only trying to have a movement and all that. Now we are talking of ADC. It's part of it. SDP is there. So you are going to have some movements to and fro. There are going to be people also who will storm out of PDP. Yes, it's not just an ADC, APC thing alone. People are going to leave PDP. Some of them come to APC. Some of them go to the new parties. So in the next 2-3 months, we'll have a full picture of where we are going. As people are losing out, because it's about interest. Unfortunately, national interest is very weak in Nigeria. People hardly think about the national interest. People think of just my personal interest. So far you step on my tail, then I'm going to strike at you. That's what people do. No. So we are going to have a lot of that. This is not the end of it. I believe, absolutely, I agree that these men had made up their minds. And it's not just about positions. Mr. Saraki had taken up the number 3 positions, irrespective of how he did. Irrespective of how he did it. It was bound to affect the allocation of other positions.
Yes. And it's in position to dispense favors, dispense...
exactly. So it's going to be.
But part of the argument they are making is that even after they emerge against the party, the party convention, the party doesn't seem to have accepted, their emergence as well. And that
let me ask Jide this. If you're in the position of Oyegu now, what can you do to stop this movement and to attend to these people?
There is nothing that you can do. I said it last week that even if Buhari, because they said that they will go and meet Buhari, even if Buhari builds houses in the sky for them, those who will live will live. It's a fact. You and I talk, usually after this program, we discuss a lot. You are going to see, there are people who will move that I will tell you, I can't tell you publicly now. They will tell you, I will tell you, if they don't move, don't ever believe me again. Don't ever believe me again if they don't move. Yes. Before they began to talk about the plan or the wish to have PDP change name, I had been telling you repeatedly that there are people in the APC, the only reason they remain there is because they can't find rationalization for going back to PDP. But if they change that name, then they will be excited and they will
want people to change their name.
Yes, but there is a legal lacuna about that. Once you change the name, it means it's a new party, and you will be talking about a new convention. People like Wike and others who went through all of that in Port Harcourt to secure, in Abuja, to secure those positions. Do you want to tell them to go for fresh convention? It's going to be difficult. That is why the PDP has some issues. But there are people today who cannot work with the current APC leadership. It's a fact that people will leave. And you see what is happening with the congresses have even made it clear that people will leave. 28 states, APC had parallel congresses in 28 states last weekend.
This weekend.
28 states. So what do you expect? You think people... Look at what the governor of Adamawa has done. And I had been warning that this man was marginalizing all the big people in the party. Look at what he has done. So you think all the Yakos of this world, No Ribadu, Marwa, all of them that he has brushed aside, including even Babashir Lawal, you think they will just fold their hands, they won't go elsewhere? Certainly. Of course they will go. Because politics is an interest-driven game, and they want to protect their interest. As much as the governor thinks that it's by marginalizing other people that he's protecting his own interest. So this is what is happening. There is nothing that Oyegun can do at this time. In any case, Oyegun is a passing face. He has one leg out already, except a miracle happens. He's gone as party chairman. So we cannot be seen now to be taken. It's Oshiomhole now who can even be making some moves in the background. So there's nothing you can do. Those who will leave. They are not happy. They feel that, why should you continue to do this to us? A lot of them, you will see the tsunami will begin in the National Assembly. Just watch out. The same way it happened the last time when Tambuwal and others left. They left, even in a clear violation of the Constitution. They left. So it will happen again this time.
That time it suits some people.
Yes.
That is Nigeria.
The truth is, the way it is, I don't even see Buhari yielding to their demands. One, it's too late in the day. We are so close to election now for anybody to be thinking, let us now take this position from this one and give you. When you do that, you've offended that one. You've lost his vote. You've lost his support.
Lost
So
his constituency.
the president will ask himself whether it makes sense to take such a plunge at this time, to take such a risk. So he will not do it. It's too late in the day. Now, they've told them, the president has been advised, don't even host them. Don't have this meeting with them. Let us see what will happen at the expiration of the deadline. What will they do? They will sit back and begin to plan. When is the most auspicious time for us to leave this party? And then they will leave. So it's as simple as that.
They worked.
And it will make our jobs interesting as journalists.
I believe.
I remember so much at the Eagle Square. Those governors
I believe very, very strongly that the National Convention of APC, which will happen at sometime in June or latest early July, I believe it will. That will be the day. We know those who will still remain.
No, after it. The day after.
A day after, the morning after. Because you see, the truth is this. Apart from the new PDP who are grumbling aloud, there are core APC members.
Yes.
Core APC members who are also unhappy with what is happening.
Core.
I mean core APC members, not even new. So and the thing is, I don't know why. Every time we keep making the same mistakes. Yes, because if you look at the pattern, this was the same pattern we had under Jonathan in PDP. You remember the G7 tried to meet with Jonathan, he will fix meeting today. Some people say don't meet with them, like that, and
let me quickly take Monday from Edo State. Thank you for joining us, Monday.
Good evening, Uncle. How are you?
Good evening, Monday.
Personally, I want to appreciate Okojide.
Okay.
In fact, if it's a contribution to this program, it's something that the nation or our leaders here and may do with his suggestion, opinions. I think by now would have gone far in this nation. Kudos to Okojide.
That's
right. Thank you.
The issue of marginalization in APC. And it baffles me at times when I hear Oyekun be the cause of problem in APC. I agree. When somebody is having lack of control in some area, we equally need to sit down and see why is this man not having control over these things. One, when you have a disciplined student in a class who are loyal to the principal, then the teacher in the class is bound to lose. How? Some people believe, like in Kogi State, for example, who believe that being a godson, sorry to say, of the president or who is close to the presidency, he believes that whatever the state people are doing is irrelevant. He's sure of getting favor from the presidency through coming back as governor of the state. So also other governors, they believe once you are attached to the presidency, you have no problem. Then you discover that the chairman of the party who have no power over them because they've got that we call it the proper channel of communication.
Thank you, Monday.
You go.
Thank you. Still to come, Magnus Abbey seeks Buhari's help over Rivers APC as Chief Justice describes attack on Port Harcourt court. Danger to democracy. Stay with us. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this time out. Welcome back. It's still your groundbreaking program of the year. That's Journalist Hangout. We are reaching you live from Television Continental here in Lagos. Squabbles between two brothers are better settled in the comforts of the house, away from the praying eyes of the onlookers. But major gladiators in Rivers State chapter of the All Progressive Congress have thrown caution to the wind. They engage in a battle royale at the Temple of Justice over control of the party machinery in oil-rich River States. A faction attempted to stop the State High Court in Port Harcourt from delivering a ruling regarding the conduct of local government Congress. One of the combatants, Senator Magnus Abbey, is now asking President Buhari to intervene. But the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onogen, is worried. He said such assaults on the court endangers democracy. Mobolaji, let me start from you now. When you look at what happened last week, but before you give your comment, let me just show you this video so that my viewers will have a fair idea of what actually happened.
Open the gates! Open the fucking gates, man! Open the fucking gates! Open the gates! You cannot shut down our judiciary. We live in a democracy.
Rivers, my rivers. What do you make of this?
It's unfortunate, but it's not unusual. Talking about Rivers State, it's like a jungle. Anytime you talk about politics, guns are like sticks that people take around. The political parties are like battalions. And the political game itself is like battle, real battle. In Rivers State, it's been war. It's been so for quite a long time. It's not new. And it's unfortunate that we are thinking of evolution, but rather there is retrogression of the political scene, especially in Rivers State. It signposts our politics. The Chief Justice is talking of being danger to democracy, desecration of the honorable temple of justice is sending signals to others that the only way you can make it is to overawe your enemy as they do in battles. And that is a danger, really, as we are moving towards 2019. Because what you are telling everybody is, go and prepare. Get your bazookas, get your machine guns, get your AK-47, get everything you can.
RPG.
Get your RPG. Then whoever is able to overrun the defense of the enemy becomes the winner. Because the judges are also human beings. They have relations, they have children, they have wives, they have husbands. And they will be telling them, look, oh, don't put yourself in the line of fire. So it's a problem that we have.
Is this not unfortunate that this is an intra-party crisis? This is between Magnus Abe and the Minister of Transport, Chibike Amechi. Now, it used to be Nyesom Wike versus Chibike Amechi. Yes. Right now, Amechi has turned. That means something is wrong somewhere against his brother within the same party.
Yes, it's former chief of staff, it's former SSG. You see, the president needs to talk to the Minister of Transport. Remember, even before the election, we had every reason to complain about the option for violence in that state at that time. And we said, because at that point, the rhetorics being exchanged between Wike and Amechi were rhetorics of blood. And we said, look, talk to this man. Even if Wike has a background of violence, you are in government now. You cannot be seen to be attempting to match him in every way. You can't. You can't. You are in government, you are embarrassing yourself.
Embarrassing the government.
Embarrassing the government.
Embarrassing
the president.
Embarrassing the president.
Look at, I remember when, before politics should not be waged in a bitter manner. I remember before the election, Goodluck Jonathan was coming into town to campaign. And as governor, The bigger stadium, named after Amese Maka, was what they wanted. Amechi said they were not going to use that stadium. He locked it. He got people to dig up the field where people will stand, where the people on the campaign ground will stand. Wike now told the president, he said, today you must show who is the commander-in-chief. Get soldiers to take over that stadium. Chase away the people that he put there to guard the place. We are big as PDP. We have the crowd. We want to show that it is that big stadium that can contain our crowd. Jonathan did exactly what Wike said. They chased away the people that he put there to guard the place.
Federal mites.
They used them, they forced them to cover up the holes that they had dug on the top. And the rally was held there. And they had a large crowd. No doubt about it. We are not going to use that smaller place. We want to send a message to you that we have crowd. And that is it was built with Rivers State government's money, Rivers people's money. Therefore, I have a right as a Rivers son to use the place. The era, we should forget the era of bitter politics. You cannot have a situation in which, remember this same Amechi locked up the courts.
Over a year.
Yes.
People were going to Bayelsa State.
He is a product of the judiciary.
Yes.
The Supreme Court gave him reliefs that he did not ask for.
Yes.
Unusual.
And
I remember, yes, because it was wrong.
Yeah, but you can't even cite that case anymore.
No, they realizing that, look, yes, you can't cite it. They now said they wanted to teach Obasanjo a lesson that you cannot always have your way with impunity. That was why they said, okay, this guy, go and swear him in. He was not on the ballot. He didn't contest the election.
Exactly.
Now, because Amechi wanted a particular person as chief judge of the state, the same old men in NJC, the same old men at the Supreme Court, he fought them. He forgot the fact that they made him, governor. If he had not become governor, he would not be who he is today.
Of course.
People would just have remembered him as a former speaker.
Odilis boy.
Yes. Odilis boy. That's what people will remember. I mean, a lot of us will remember. We will remember even the wedding that he had in Government House at that time, where Mumaji played music. We can't forget. So the thing is, let the president talk to him. Because today they are saying 2 persons died. We don't know, maybe there were more than that. We can't have a situation in which you will be locking up our courts. Nobody has the right to go and send thugs to lock, or even policemen to lock up our courts. He has no right to be doing that. It is wrong. If we allow things to degenerate to the Obesian state of nature, then we are in trouble. Anarchy will take over and nobody won't be able to control things. Even the international community that has so much respect for our president because of his integrity, the president will lose legitimacy. People will be talking about him that, oh, he presides over a country where ministers go around with thugs
to lock up,
who lock up courts and all that. So this has to stop. It happened in the past, it's happened again.
At what point in time did this thing degenerate between Magnus Abe and Nyesom Wike?
I
wrote him, sorry.
Well, I think Abe had thought that he was going to take over from Amechi in 2015. Unfortunately, Amechi had his own game plan, you know. And I recall when they were going for the Rivers rerun election, I told a friend of mine then who was on our political decks, I said that if Wike is going to fight anybody in this rerun, he's not likely going to fight Abe. I said because Abe is already having a kind of friction with Amechi, and so Wike will need Abe to.
I think they're munching now.
To fight Amechi. I think Amechi is asking for too much, if you ask me. And if I were to be his boss, if I cannot fire him, I probably would have excused him from the position as the DG of my campaign. Because whatever he does reflects. Look, even if the president does not support what he's doing, everybody within and outside the country will say he has the president's support. And that is dangerous. Because this is a man who has told us that he is ready to play by the rules, is ready to abide by the rule of law. And you have your minister, not just your minister, but a DG of your campaign, who will lead your campaign for a re-election. Engaging in such impunity, I think it is dangerous for the party and it is dangerous for the government.
Why are we always having this APC, within APC, almost all the state chapters, but this one of River States is getting to a level of, you know?
I was even particularly surprised that it could get this bad. You see, in River State, when Amechi was battling to have his mandates, it was this Wike and Abe that played major roles in this. One was, Wike was saddled with the judiciary, he's now in PDP. The Abe was saddled with the political end, while Amechi was in Ghana. And when he came in, immediately he announced one as the chief of staff, the other one as SSG. And you felt three jolly friends. And all of a sudden, because of personal interest, ego, power. Amechi is a man who does not want to brook any disagreement.
No.
He must have his way. He's not a man who can preside over a discussion and then he says, oh, I think that's superior argument. No, it doesn't work. And these other men, with Wike moving to the center and becoming a minister,
he looks so gentle, he looks...
Oh, he looks genial. But he's a fighter. No. So it's unfortunate that we are getting here and we are repeating what we have had in River State over and over again.
Let me quickly take this call. Etim is calling us from Uyo. Thank you, Etim. Thank you, Etim. Thank you for joining us.
I agree to.
You see, I am not surprised about this very move from the nPDP. You see, as I speak to you here in Akwa about that, I want to move back to nPDP. You see, 18 local governments in Akwa State are still expecting the list of their ward SO and LGS. Serious problem here in Akwa. It is sad and very unfair. How will a politician always fight to their pocket and let their members spread? This very video we just shown in Port Harcourt River State has already given Wike the upper hand. The APC cannot control their favor at all. It is disheartening and very bad. Thank you, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Etim. So, landing on your points before Etim call.
Yes, so talking about, in the first instance, the most deadly battles in Nigeria have been within the same party, not even inter-party. If you look at the Second Republic, by 79, the UPN, the NPN, there was no problem. Akinjide Bolaige, they could relate very well. But as soon as there was a split in the UPN, and Afolabi and co moved out, Akolabi, Omishade and co, became a major battle. Eruobodo became the battle axe for the other side. And there was a total breakdown. Omobure moved in Ondo State, and there was a serious crisis over there. So that's the kind of problem we've always had. It could, like the Chief Justice of Nigeria said, it's not only about the judiciary, it's about Nigerians' democracy. If we go the same way, in the First Republic, in the AG, it was Awolowo and Akintola in the same party. It was not AG and NCNC. It was not AG and NPC. It was AG versus AG. It starts like this from one state.
Real bloodshed.
And the danger is if something is not done about rivers, I bet you other states will try it.
As we are rounding up now, I was thinking that Amechi will be reaching out to Magnus Abe and say, let's consolidate. That APC is almost non-existent in River State, because from the way Governor Wike has been going about it, it's like a total thing. When you want to see election results, when I've covered election there, it's as if it's a complete PDP state. How we are going to build our party? But nothing like that is happening.
They don't think the way you think, as far as they are concerned. You know, the Nigerian politician is very optimistic. They believe that they are even stronger than PDP.
APC, yes. In River State. In
River State, they believe that they are stronger. And if the PDP wins an election there, Amechi and co are likely to say that they were rigged out. So the politician doesn't think the way you think. You are a journalist. You think, okay, let's be fair. They believe that they are stronger.
River State.
I'm telling you, that's the way they reason. And you see, just as Manager has said, he doesn't brook disagreement. He was addressing lawyers and tried to justify the action that he took. Back then, I think it was in 2014, and he was saying that you people were lucky. That what he wanted to do for them, that when they had that protest and they marched through the streets, that he would have given thugs gowns, lawyers' gowns to wear. The thugs will now mingle with them and beat them silly. He said it recorded. So I said, how can a governor talk like this? You said you would have sewn
the wig and gown.
Yes, for thugs. That the thugs will now, as the lawyers were protesting against him, they will now go and mesh with the lawyers and beat the hell out of them. He said, you are lucky. He told them. He was not even apologetic about what he did. And one of the earliest things that this man, Wike, did was to open the courts.
Immediately.
He opened the courts, you know.
I remember.
At that time, he opened the courts.
Because people used to go to Bayelsa to go and do their litigation.
Yes, now.
Well, moving on now. Herdsmen menace continues to assault at collective vigilance faced with superior firepower and renewed strategies by security agencies. The marauding herdsmen are fleeing their enclaves in Benue, Taraba states to cause havoc elsewhere. On Monday, they attacked 2 communities in Mopamuro. That's in Ijumu local government area.
No, that's the local government on the so.
Okay.
Mopamuro.
2 different local governments in Kogi State. 10 persons were killed in that attack. But the Nigerian military remains undaunted in its onslaught against the killer herdsmen. The army arrested 4 herdsmen in Taraba and recovered AK-47 rifles from them as well. Nigerians will hope for more of this success story. Ismail.
Well, of course, it is the wish of every Nigerian that we put the menace of these herdsmen, behind us. Even though, like I have always advocated, I don't always like calling them herdsmen, because the more we call them herdsmen, the more we miss the point. I see them as criminals, I see them as bandits, and they should be treated as such. Because if you look at the carnage that was carried out in Brinungwari in Kaduna State about 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was done by the same people.
No, those ones are not herdsmen. Those are cattle rustlers.
Well, for me...
Cattle rustlers, cattle rustlers and herdsmen. Cattle rustlers and herdsmen and herdsmen militia, they are completely different.
No, because
those ones are out to steal cattle. The other people are out. They have quarrels with farmers.
When you don't see, you have not apprehended them, how do you know the attack was carried out by herdsmen?
No, the story is here. The story is here.
Okay, now I do know that there are some herdsmen who are criminals. No doubt about that. But most of those who carry out some of these, even on the highways, Lokoja, Abuja, Okene, Abuja, Kaduna, Abuja,
Kaduna.
They will just, about 15 or sometimes 20, they will just enter the road and open fire. I have been victim once. As a matter of fact, I thought cattle were waiting to cross in fact, I was one who asked the driver to slow down so that the cattle can cross the road. So as we were now approaching, the next thing I saw was that the guy pointed the gun at us.
They use that even for even Boko Haram use
the driver now wanted to reverse. About 3 behind us, I said, look, let us just surrender. On a version. So I think the army and police must intensify, effort in ensuring that these people are rooted, out of the, community. But the way some of these things happen, the style of the attack, for me, I also want to believe, though I don't have any empirical evidence to support that this thing may go beyond herdsmen. some Boko Haram, some may have also taken, because like the attack on Benue, for example, in the church, when I saw the video, I saw one of the video where they were putting on something like, looked like a chorister uniform, you know. I saw the video went viral at some point. And the first question I asked myself was, okay, what was the offense of the members of that church?
Those people, they've been killed. They don't have offense.
Before they were even killed, the Reverend Father sent a Facebook message talking about, they said, we have been surrounded by herdsmen and they are grazing their cattle. It's there. He said, and we have no guns to protect ourselves.
They are grazing their cattle?
Yes, he said they are grazing their cattle in our community. We are surrounded by herdsmen and we have no gun to protect ourselves. The message is there because it went viral. It was the next day that those guys now killed him. They now killed him along with other people. And the video you saw was like dancing on the graves of people that they killed, because the choir uniform, they got the choir uniform, put it on, and they were just dancing. Rejoicing about killing people. So the truth is...
And they were all speaking Fulfulde.
Yes.
I don't understand
the president,
a Fulani guy translated it.
So you know the origin of those who went to kill people. The president said something. Look, we can defeat these people killing Nigerians unnecessarily. We can, if we really want to do it, and stop defending people on account of, oh, he's from my area. A lot of the Fulani who come to Nigeria to kill people, they are not Nigerians. Yeah. I heard the president say this with his own mouth in Taraba. But we just don't like the truth in our country. He said a lot of these Fulani killing people in Nigeria are not Nigerians. He said so. Because look, up to Senegal, Gambia, you have Fulani. Up to Mauritania, you have Fulani. They can come in like illegal aliens and kill our people. I don't believe that Nigerians will be killing Nigerians in this manner. But the president gave a directive. He said, wherever you see an herdsman carrying AK-47, arrest him and put him on trial. He said that in Taraba. And I'm happy that this story is saying that the army seized AK-47 from a band of herdsmen while on patrol. The commissioner of police in Katsina did the same thing. He said he saw some Fulani herdsmen carrying AK-47, and he told them why. They said they are protecting themselves against cattle thieves. And he said, no, this category of weapons that you are carrying, you are not permitted to carry.
AK-47?
Yes. No, of course it is legitimate for them to defend themselves against cattle thieves.
But not with AK-47.
But the man said, no, you cannot. This is not the category of weapons that you can carry. And they took it from them. When you have AK-47, you get to a community and farmers, maybe your cattle trampled on crops, and farmers decided to poison your cattle or react in another violent way, and you know you have AK-47, you will turn it against those people. This is where the violence starts. And clearly there's a distinction between those killing people in Brenengwari and Zamfara and the herdsmen that we are talking about. Those ones killing people in Zamfara, they are bandits, and they are doing it for the money. The herdsmen attacking communities, they are not out to steal your things. They are just looking for where they can graze their cattle. So it's a different thing. As far back as 1974, I even saw a story in one of the old newspapers, I think either Daily Times or so, of attacks by cattle rustlers in Zamfara. It's always been there. It's always been there. So it's not a new thing. But all those ones are after is they steal cattle, and then they steal people's, you know, there's a lot of mining going on in those areas. They attack those mining communities. They also kidnap people. So those ones are rogues.
I have this call from New Jersey in United States. Ugochukwu?
Yeah, thank you.
Good. Well, I say good afternoon to you.
And Babajide and the other man, they are on camp.
Okay, go ahead.
Outer attire.
Thank you.
Okay.
I've been watching you people every day. I called for United States of America.
Okay, how is Jesse?
I have to thank Babajide, and more especially,
and Press of
the
Time.
man on Outer Regalia.
Okay.
I've watched this program for more than 6 months with keen interest, believing in the objectivity of your analysis.
Thank you, sir.
What I'm saying is that you people should uphold the truth.
Yes.
Please, the president should talk to Amechi. The way they are going, they want to kill Nigeria.
Thank you, Ugo. Ugo, I have to really go and press for time. Ugo, thank you. Omonija, please, your last take. We have to go.
Yes, on the issue of, I think the president really, he has made some statements in recent times, and he has given directives, which we expected he should have done much earlier than now. And the vice president also said this protocol on West Africa that allows people to have seamless entry into Nigeria has to be touched. He said he's talking to the West African community, and I think they should look in that direction. What the army has done in Taraba is the way to go. Is the way to go. We need much more of such action. Nigerians are beginning to lose confidence in their own government. And if they do, if we continue that way, I'm afraid that the country has no way to go.
I'd like to thank you, Mobola.
Before we go, we have to also praise our troops.
Yes.
There is real progress in battling this headsman menace. Since that statement by Donald Trump, no death has been recorded in Benue State. Not one death. In the past, every day I will be looking out for reports, especially from Guma and this Lao, or what's that place called, that local government? Logo and Lao. But that's, since that day, and you have seen troops being posted, special forces troops being sent to Taraba by the Air Force and the Army. So they are really, they are doing well now. We have to commend our troops. They are doing a good job. The killings have reduced drastically.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank you, Mobola De Omonijo. Thank you for being part of this. And Ismail Omipido, thank you.
My pleasure.
And Mesro Bapajide Kolade Otitoju. Thank you so much. It's so happy to be back. And that's it for Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on our platforms showing on the screen. Catch us live on YouTube. That's youtube.com/TVC News. Journalist Hangout is also on TVC News at TV. And my name is Ayodele Uzubakun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.